My name is Tony and Ervin.
And I'm Ervin Bryant.
On today's show, we'll be talking about our top 5 impeachment moments so far. Secondly, we'll be talking about blackface in the digital age, or digital blackface as they call it. And finally, the happenings in Haiti, and is Haiti on the brink of collapse? But first, a little bit about ourselves. Ervin?
So, I am currently the assistant coach to the Prairie View A&M University debate team. I have formerly served on the Board of Regents, the highest governing body in the Texas A&M University system. I am a history major, political science minor, and I'm on my last year here at Prairie View A&M.
My name is Tony and Ervin. I am a senior marketing major, minor in political science. I am an Army combat veteran, served in Afghanistan, where I received medals from the Army, Air Force, and NATO. Therefore, I love foreign policy. I'm also on the debate team. Ervin and I placed second, runner-ups in the HBCU national tournament in his first reception. So we want to talk to you today about politics and things that we love to hear about. But first, let's get a little commercial going.
At Prairie View A&M University, we've been igniting passion in students for more than 140 years. It's about inspiration. It's about global influence. It's about self-expression and individuality. It's about trailblazing a path of excellence. It's about engaging in the greater community. Above all, it's about helping you realize your dreams. Ignite your passion. Experience Prairie View A&M University.
Welcome back. This is Topicality. First, we'll be talking about myself and Ervin's top 5. So therefore, our top 5 impeachment moments so far. Really, because impeachment is a very heavy topic, and there have been some funny moments though that I think we should highlight. Yeah.
Absolutely. The Trump administration White House is a dark comedy, and being a hip hop fan, I'm a huge fan of top 5 lists. And so we're going to start off with number 5, Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal lawyer, former mayor of New York, and you may remember him as a swell guy after 9/11. Well, if you happen to turn on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, or anything of the like, as they are covering the impeachment, your opinion of him will surely change. He is basically a Tekashi 6ix9ine of the political era, of the political world, where he's snitching on himself and his clients. Now, a lawyer has to uphold attorney-client privilege, but this man, no. When in an interview with Chris Cuomo asked him plainly, well, was the situation with Ukraine quid pro quo, where he exchanged military aid for information about his political opponent? And Rudy Giuliani said yes. He just outright snitched on himself and his client. Not a good move, but definitely in the top 5.
Yeah, so it was quite funny because they said there was no quid pro quo the entire time. And then Rudy Giuliani was just like, yeah, we did it, so, and you'll see that be a reoccurring theme on today's top 5. But my number 5 has to be what came out recently. Donald Trump said about the phony annulment clause, right? So there's emoluments clause, yeah. So there's a clause in the Constitution that does not allow the president or any person to make money off their office, right? So the president said the Democrats have brought up this phony clause and it's not real, and it's in the Constitution, which is just hilarious because he's supposed to uphold and defend the Constitution per his oath, but he said it was phony, and that's just the funniness is in the fact that it's so absurd.
Absolutely. Moreover, if you haven't forgotten, the President Trump is still very much involved and invested in all of his businesses. So emoluments clause have been violated for the whole past, it's running up on 4 years.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Nothing new. Let's do another top 5 that's not exactly new, but a particular anomaly in the impeachment saga that we've seen is President Trump's tweets. After the impeachment inquiry was formally filed, the weekend following, we're talking about October 15th, 16th, 17th, the president seemingly went on a Twitter marathon. He wanted to clear his name in every conceivable way, even if those aren't any logical conceivable ways. And so we see a record 88 tweets in 24 hours from our president of these United States. We're not talking about infrastructure. We're not talking about military. We're not talking about space exploration. We're talking about Twitter and how the Democrats are forging a phony impeachment inquiry into our duly elected commander-in-chief.
Yeah, it was quite wild. The funniest thing, though, had to be the tweet with the Nickelback song, Photograph, which
Look
I
at
have
this.
not, I have not heard this song since my cringy days of high school, and I wish, middle school, and I wish never to hear it again.
Right.
That alone should be impeachment
Yes.
document.
And let us also recognize that and Nickelback did impeach that tweet and had it removed with the DMCA copyright claim because they don't want to be involved in that. They're Canadians and they're above it.
Yeah, so my number 4 pick is when Trump invited Ukraine and China to investigate the Bidens on live television. If you will remember, he is being impeached for asking Ukraine to investigate the Bidens on a phone call, a private phone call that was secret. But then he went out in front of the White House Rose Garden and he said, nah, I'm going to do it in person because you can't catch me because I'm like that. You know, it's Teflon Don at its max, you know. New York City mobsters wish they had the gall that President Trump had to go on TV and be like, you know what, do it. And also, you know what, China, you do it too. I need your help also. Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild weekend. It was crazy. And it was during the same time as a tweet storm. He's lost his mind. But number 3 from Ervin.
You want to talk about Teflon Don? Okay, nothing is harder than just saying to the man, to authority, no, I'm not going to do that. And so when you look at all of our favorite gangsters and thugs, you know, when they have their final stand, when Scarface is in the hotel room and he says, say hello to my little friend, that's the pinnacle moment. That's the end. But see, Trump, he doesn't stop there. When it comes time for all of the Trump administration to be subpoenaed, to come before Congress and testify, to give the truth so the investigation can be done properly, they just flat out say from the official White House statement, it's not going to happen. Nobody is coming in to do a subpoena, and I don't care about being in contempt of Congress. We've heard of contempt of court. Contempt of Congress doesn't quite have the same consequences, and so they're just saying, the institutions of America, I don't need those. Constitution, don't need that either.
Yeah, so the problem is contempt of Congress basically means that you get a fine and then you get a suspended jail sentence, right? So you be convicted of a misdemeanor, but it's suspended, you know, serving in jail time, and the fine is chump change to Trump. But the crazy thing about it is that the White House said from their mouth, you know, from the official statement, that the impeachment inquiry was false, that it was phony, they didn't believe it, and we're going to participate in it. And what are American institutions? Because they are a joke.
The executive branch said, you know what? We don't like the government.
Yeah.
I may be the government, but I don't like it.
Yeah, number 3 for me has to be Mick Mulvaney going and having a press conference and saying that we did it, right? So the crazy thing about it is that a reporter said to him, you know, in an exchange, basically, isn't withholding money from Ukraine to get to investigate the Bidens and investigate Russia collusion, which again is a harebrained conspiracy scheme, right? Isn't getting to do that quid pro quo. And Mulvaney said, we do that all the time. He's like,
so, Mick Mulvaney's not wrong. We do quid pro quo, which is Latin for something, in exchange. We do that all the time in American foreign policy. Whether or not it's a questionable moral action is for another topic, another day. But the fact that you want to do a quid pro quo for political favor against an American who's your political opponent,
right?
All those things together, he openly admitted to them from a White House press conference. So he's got the seal behind him and says, reporter, I am guilty.
Yeah, and he said, what you gonna do about it though? Because basically in the day, if Republicans refuse to listen, to take heed of what they said, then it doesn't matter because the spin afterwards was crazy, but we'll get to that in a second. You're number 2.
So we talked about how harebrained all these different conspiracy theories are, right? There are lies being told, people denying the government's legitimacy, even though they are, you know, at the seat of government. And all these things are a problem. What may lend to more of a problem is when you have what has been dubbed as disinformation, which is not misinformation when you make a mistake. Disinformation is where information that is erroneous, is wrong, is fallacious, is purposefully injected into the public. When people buy that and believe that the Hunter Biden conspiracy is some kind of deep state, giant corruption issue, where you're dealing with third world level corruption, then we all lose. So impeachment moment number 2 is people foolishly buying into this, and it's a warning that you shouldn't. You got to do the research, you got to understand the facts, understand that this is what Van Jones would call a nothing burger.
Yeah. So last 2 ones, I'm gonna put them into one because we're running out of time here. Number 2 would be the spin cycle. Republicans trying to spin the Trump impeachment into something good. It's not working. Number 1, though, for me, is the president looming on November 21st. There has to be a deal to reconcile the United States budget so we can continue so the government is shut down. The president may shut down the government to stop the impeachment inquiry. So
Again.
Yeah, again.
Shut it down again.
Yeah, shut it down again for stop the impeachment inquiry. Basically say, what if we don't have a government? So if the government's not functioning, you can't investigate me, which may be genius, low key, maybe genius, yeah.
You thought it couldn't get worse.
Yeah, you thought it couldn't get worse. Wait for people's paychecks not to come through. Then it's going to be a serious issue, yes.
He was talking about civil war on Twitter in the tweet storm.
Yeah, it may get to the problem. But lastly, I would just tell you guys, keep heeding what's going on. Keep listening, keep learning. Stay vigilant. Call your congresspeople, let them know that we're not here for this mess. Hopefully, if we all do our part, that we can get him out of office. Because he is an existential threat. But next, we're going to talk about digital blackface. Is TikTok making white kids racist?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Or, there's a better throwaway. Is TikTok the new song of the South?
Yes! Yes.
Yes. And finally, what does Justin Trudeau, a Virginia lawmaker, and a game show in Poland all have in common? Next on Topicality.
The last one was very good. It's beautiful.
At Prairie View A&M University, we've been igniting passion in students for more than 140 years. It's about inspiration. It's about global influence. It's about self-expression and individuality. It's about trailblazing a path of excellence. It's about engaging in the greater community. Above all, it's about helping you realize your dreams. Ignite your passion. Experience Prairie View A&M University.
I gotta get better time signals though, because I had no clue where we were at.
She came out with one. When she comes out,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
look at her fingers.
I saw one, but I was like, oh, shit.
So, welcome back to Topicality. My name is again Tony and Ervin.
Ervin Bryant.
And right now we're going to talk about digital blackface. So, Ervin, you want to take the floor?
So one thing that I've studied in being a history major and being a member of the honors program is blackface. The images of black people in Hollywood is particularly the course that all honor students are required to take. And in understanding that history, you kind of notice it when it creeps back up. So we have digital blackface. So first, let's understand very briefly what is blackface in and of itself and how does that work. And so you may probably be familiar with the idea that white people, since the beginning of American entertainment, have fancied putting shoe polish or any type of dark coloration on their face to mock and demean the lowest people in American society, those who were formerly or maybe even at the time slaves. Deplorable stuff.
One caveat.
Okay.
Some of it is based off of curiosity of what we do, not knowing our who we are as a people, our culture. Therefore, part of it is done out of curiosity. People go to for minstrel shows. This is a essay about digital blackface, talking about the curiosity into black culture.
I'm talking about blackface OG.
Oh, blackface is blackface OG.
That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
So the original blackface is not a curiosity.
I'm talking about people going to minstrel shows out of curiosity for the songs.
The point is, digital blackface, animated blackface, notably Birth of the Nation, the first American blockbuster, the president at the time said it was history written with a lightning bolt. That was Teddy Roosevelt, an otherwise respectable guy. Woodrow Wilson, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying real hard to remember who that was. Moreover, you got Charlton Heston in Othello, so a different type of blackface, right? Charlton Heston is playing a Moorish fellow. I believe he may have been African. Regardless, he was supposed to be playing a character in this historical tale who's supposed to be of African descent, black, like these two gentlemen here. Problem is, Charlton Heston, as you probably know,
Is a white.
is not a black person.
He's a white man. He also loves the NRA too. So you know, that's
Yeah, they put him in some very ugly, very bad black makeup. And so either blackface is traditionally about mocking us or replacing us. Either way, don't wear my skin as a costume. I'd rather you not do that.
Yeah. So digital blackface, in the new age, I first saw it, people talking about it with TikTok, which is basically white kids listening to black music. TikTok is an app. It's based off of people. It's like Vine. If you remember Vine from back in our days, TikTok is a musical Vine, basically.
So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but the issue here is when we talk about whether or not people are using TikTok or GIFs, images, and internet personas to take from black culture without contributing, or to do what blackface does, to replace or mock us. It's important to understand coded text. And so on a lot of these things, it's not outright saying, because it is socially unacceptable, even though it still does happen. Shout out Justin Trudeau. Shout out the governor from Virginia, lieutenant governor from Virginia, and so many other politicians in America who got caught wearing blackface. Blackface parties on university campuses. Regardless, people still do it. They just do it where black people can't see them until we do see them. But when we can see them, it's in coded text. So we understand that certain things just mean black, even though you don't say it. Particularly Hillary Clinton, when she wants to talk about a super predator and inner cities and the type of environment, the behaviors they have. Everybody knew what she was saying. She was just finding a more tasteful, more political way to say it. Or Richard Sherman, who plainly said, when they call me a thug, it's just a new, more acceptable way of using the N-word. And so it's a general understanding among us, but just for those who may not understand, certain things that don't say you are a N-word, they mean that in a different way. And so when you see TikTok and kids, mainly using that particular app, but social media at large, using certain language, co-opting language, dance, clothing, etc., all sorts of cultural signifiers, you start running into problems where one can capitalize off of something, one can derive pleasure, fun, value from it without valuing the person that the image projects.
Right. So I guess basically like kids that would do the Fortnite dance, right? And the Fortnite dance was started by black rappers.
Fortnite dances.
Dances, yeah. There's a bunch of different ones. But you know, when black people get shot in the streets, you know, do they also care about that, right? So that's really what it boils down to, right? So if you're gonna use my GIFs, listen to my music, can you also, give a crap when something happens to me that is bad? And they refuse to do. They want to do one without doing the other, or they don't think about it,
Right. And I mean, again, as we discussed this, there's two different ways to address blackface. There's the Justin Trudeau, like, you are wrong, there needs to be an apology, and maybe we don't reelect you. He's definitely been reelected, and whether or not he should have been, that's neither here nor there. But there's hard blackface where you need to face the consequence. Get thee behind me, Satan. Away from me, white person. I don't want to deal with you anymore. And then there's digital blackface where that's just a product of an institutional racism. Like, that's how we live in America, where all the time I am expressing myself through black GIFs and black language, and I don't even recognize that this is black language. Notably on Hassan Minhaj's Patriot Act, on a digital installment to his show, he interviewed some children who were born in America, first generation, and their parents are from India. Same situation as him. And they were talking about all these kinds of things that they relate about. And when he asked them about internet speech, they started saying things that we would refer to as Ebonics or AAV, African American Vernacular English. So they said, well, no cap, that's the new internet slang. Right. And I had to pause the video and say, well, hold on a second. You can't take this, which was, and ultimately is a signifier of blackness, and in a Charlton Heston way, replace it with this ubiquitous, youthful energy. Sure, we, as black people, dictate what youthful energy looks like, hip hop, et cetera, et cetera. But to take that from us like that is the way that we see Elvis taking rock and roll from, the godfathers of American music.
I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing I would say people to do is trademark. You come up with something funny, start trademarking it, right? Don't do what LeBron did with Taco Tuesday, because that is dumb. But also, you know, when Megan Thee Stallion comes out with Hot Girl Summer, trademark that. You know, therefore, when people want to put on a T-shirt, like when they put on their house and they put live, love, live, laugh, love.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and
Hot
put-
Girl Summer is the new Live, Laugh, Love.
Yeah, trademark that. You know, Hot Girl Fall too. Trademark that too. Get paid. You know, young person get paid.
Yes, exactly. YOLO, bling, bling. Hip hop and black people are always making cool stuff that everybody wants to buy it off of. And the better we can commodify it, which is limited ability. You know, if you don't have the capital, you can't pay a lawyer, But the more capital you can have, the more you can protect your own, value your own, the better off we'll all be.
Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about Haiti. I don't have authority for that one because it is a serious issue. So let's talk about, we'll talk about Haiti after this.
At Prairie View A&M University, we've been igniting passion in students for more than 140 years. It's about inspiration. It's about global influence. It's about self-expression and individuality. It's about trailblazing a path of excellence. It's about engaging in the greater community. Above all, it's about helping you realize your dreams. Ignite your passion. Experience Prairie View A&M University.
Hello, welcome back to Topicality. My name is Tony and Ervin.
And I'm Ervin Bryant.
Today we'll be talking about what's going on in Haiti, right? So the issue in Haiti right now is a dire issue. Institutions are falling apart. So like a little bit of what's happening. Right now the president, I'm going to butcher his name.
Yeah, give
but
it
I'm
a
gonna
shot,
try.
man. Give it a shot.
You want to try?
You got it. I want to see it.
Juvenal Moise? Moise, or something like that? Yeah.
The president.
Yeah, the president, right. So the president of Haiti, right, he was elected in 2017, former businessman. He was elected because he said he would put food on Haitians' tables. There would be electricity 24/7. Schools would stay open, right? Since early this year, back in February, they've been asking for his ouster. There was an investigation done by the parliament. They found that he and other several executive administration officials have been embezzling money into their own pockets. Therefore, protesters have rised up. Institutions have fallen apart because protesters are putting up roadblocks. They're getting into violent clashes with the police, and people are really starving. You know, there's one story I read in New York Times. There's a mother who hasn't had food for several days. She worked at a school. School has been closed down. She makes $47 a month to feed her family. They live in a shanty. Shanty, right. So she hasn't had any bread or any fish to put on the fire at home. So she sends the kids away to other people's houses who have extra, and then she doesn't eat. You know, she gets the scraps she can. One hospital was down to their last oxygen tank. It was by the grace of God that a truck came with more tanks, but they're about to decide who was going to get oxygen and who wasn't. You know, and it's a serious issue there. So the question is, what happened, right? So what led us to this situation?
So do we want to start from the beginning?
Yeah. So you know. Let's real quick. Christopher Columbus sucks, so he came. He came to Haiti.
Yeah, he landed on in 1492.
Yeah,
the other rhyme.
Yeah.
On the Isle of Hispaniola because it reminded him of the most beautiful parts of Spain. Not at all like Spain, but here we are.
Yeah.
Half the island is the Dominican Republic, as you may be aware. Half the island is Haiti. And it wasn't Haiti before that. It was Saint-Domingue in French. I'm not that good at French, but you get the drift. So. Majority black population, controlling colonial white minority.
By the French. So
particularly French.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of racial politics thing going back and forth. But ultimately, Toussaint Louverture, who I'm sure you've heard of, is the revolutionary who led the Haitian people to liberation, one of the largest and most successful slave revolts in the New World. And we finally end up in a Haiti where they have a black country controlled by black people who have resources that can lead to great wealth. We're talking sugar, we're talking tobacco, and those are the hot trading items besides silver of the day. And where we start seeing the consequences of all those things, because at this point it sounds like a pretty good story, is France, England, Spain, in opposition to Haiti's independence, basically embargo them. So all the things that they could profit from start being a burden as they have to harvest sugar had to harvest tobacco and then can't sell it for its true value.
So one of the issues, so one real quick, put some dates on this. So the revolution was 1791 to 1804. The U.S. was also in the countries that embargoed Haiti. Also, the French farmed the country dang near to its bone, right? So they had some resources left. They still have resources left now. But what Haiti was before the French, the Spanish and the French came, into what it was when they left, they continue to farm it over and over again, industrializing it, and they farmed it to its bone. The country, the land has been trying to grow back, right? So that's one issue. Secondly, the embargo, as you speak of, in the mid 1800s, the United States takes over Haiti, right? So from, I want to say it's 1914 to 1934, or I think it might be 1912. The United States government controls everything that Haiti does, right? So the Navy moves in, they take control over everything. For the longest time, Haiti had provision in its constitution that said that other foreigners cannot own land in Haiti, right? So sort of like Liberia, right? However, the United States government forced them to change that in the constitution. Therefore, they could own land in Haiti. The United States businesses came in, started owning land, and then they basically ripped the whatever wealth Haiti had left from them, right? Then in during the Cold War time, we supported an authoritarian regime in Haiti because they were anti-communist. If you learn anything about American history, this happens
everywhere.
time and
All
time
across the
again.
globe.
Yeah, so in Africa we do this, in Vietnam we do this,
Central America,
Central
South
America,
America.
yeah, we do this over
It's
and
a
over
mess.
again. Yeah, Africa is probably the worst. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Somalia has no central government to this day.
Yeah, Ethiopia also, right? So basically, here we get to this point now where they overthrew the authoritarian government. They've been trying to move forward, right? But NGOs like the Clinton Foundation and other things like that, Earth just being straight up mean to Haiti with earthquakes and hurricanes have led it to a part where they're trying to get back on their feet. They don't have the resources to trade. Infrastructure is torn into, and institutions are falling apart. When institutions start falling apart, the clock is ticking on what's left of your country.
And so now we arrive to the present day where there's
Yeah.
protests in the streets, bordering on riots.
Right.
And it's what began as protests about the infrastructure, if I'm not mistaken.
And corruption, yeah.
Yes, and particularly corruption. So many different instances of corruption, one in particular being the current prime minister, who serves, as many prime ministers do, by being elected among the parliament. They vote one of their own up to being prime minister, and then they're confirmed by the president. Things go on, as usual. The issue is this prime minister was nominated by the president and not confirmed by parliament, not voted upon by the public. And so you see, institutions are bound to fall apart when there is corruption to the degree that the institution doesn't act like itself.
Yes, yeah. So basically, why should you care? Because Haiti is black. That's why you should care at the end of the day.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I concur. Yes.
That's us, that's our people.
I'm rooting for everybody.
Yeah, like she said, so therefore that's why you should care. Also, recognize something. Institutions are important, right? So we went over our top 5. There are a lot of moments in that top 5 where institutions are not being respected. When they say we don't recognize your ability to impeach us, we don't want to participate in this. Yes, we did it. We can do it. We want to, right? Those type of things are issues. That's institutions being attacked, and this is what it can lead to, right?
When we talk about what it can lead to, this is not unique. We're not going to get into the specifics of these instances, but in Ecuador, we're seeing a similar situation. In Lebanon, similar situation. In Hong Kong, similar situation. So all across the globe, literally just on every continent, we're seeing people take issue with a particular moment of corruption, a particular moment of governmental failure. But then once they start protesting and the outrage grows, people investigate more. All the different institutional failures begin to balloon to the degree that there has to be a total overhaul.
Right. So finally, as you wrap up the show today, I would just tell you to stay vigilant, keep reading, keep listening, keep learning, right? As we talk about topicality, hold your people responsible, hold institutions responsible. My name is Tony Brown.
Ervin Bryant.
And this is Topicality. Thank you for watching.